mind you, has a new cabinet secretary. So that would be a good point to start, even as we evaluate the other talking points that we'll be evaluating with my guests right here. Allow me to introduce them right briefly. I'm joined by Charles Gaku, not a new name and face to the station. He's a managing director of Air Travel and Related Studies Center. Asante sana for your time. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
Okay, equally joined by Boaz Mochama, who's a director of, is it Boze or Boz Adventures?
Boz Adventures, definitely.
Good one, eh?
That's a good one. It's catchy kidogo. So, gentlemen, we are having this discussion, and I just want to engage your minds briefly on the change at the helm of the tourism ministry. Right now, Alfred Mutua is in charge, moving from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Matters. Is this good news? Is this a breath of fresh air? What would you say as stakeholders?
Mutua, my friend.
Yeah.
Change is as good as the rest.
Okay.
I must say.
Yeah.
And I see fresh air.
That's good.
Yes.
You're keeping it brief.
Yes, I'm keeping it brief for now. It's
Okay.
too early, I think. 10 hours or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so far, I think it's fresh air.
Wacha chape kazi.
Yes.
Boz.
Yeah, so sometimes we need new faces,
Yeah.
to just have to see like the uniqueness that we have never experienced before. So I feel like let's give him some time. We see like at the progress or like the changes he can make.
Okay, that's really proper. And speaking of changes, let's engage on the change that will be coming in January 2024 in terms of increase of park entry fee in Kenya. And this has definitely been a cause of concern, especially for the tourism sector, because one of the questions that stands out, we don't want to cut ourselves short in terms of the competitiveness of Kenya compared to our neighbors, Uganda, Tanzania, you name it. So your take on that before we get to the one online payment platform.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was in Tanzania with my students, Air Travel and Related Studies Center last week, to climb Kilimanjaro. And Jesse, they are not reviewing their fees in Tanzania. We are reviewing our fees in Kenya. And already we are higher than Tanzania as we speak in terms of fees. And yet we're competing for the same clients, and no doubt. Competition is the same. I think it's a wrong move at the moment, given that you've not even recovered actually from the pandemic. And not just the country. Remember that also our prospective clients as well have not recovered as well. So should have waited a bit longer, if you ask me. They gave us some time to inform our clients on the other side that in a duration of 6 months or 1 year, fee will be reviewed and so on. But I don't think it's the right way to go. Okay. Should have remained, if not lowered, at least to get the numbers in, and then you look at it.
So it might have more negatives than benefits for the country.
No doubt about it.
As you had your voice, Boaz, talk to us about the one payment platform. Because as I was reading news in the last few weeks or so, we saw a couple of tour cars actually lined up at the entry of one of these parks, and they were actually complaining that it's made it a little bit more cumbersome in terms of payment in order to access these facilities. As a stakeholder, your take on that?
Yeah, so my opinion is basically I can support 50-50. You know, sometimes when we make payments online, it isn't, because you never know, like somebody's paying at the gate. And either the card is not working or like the M-Pesa is not even functioning on the day. But right now, the e-citizen, you are able to get the tickets. You pay online, and then from there you are able to get the ticket instant. So for that, it helps you, and then it prepares you for the coming safari. So basically, I can support 50%. On the other side as well, there is an issue about refund. Somebody can be able to pay, and then they either want to get the refund back. Like anything can happen overnight. Somebody can get sick, but now the refund process might take a long time. For me, I feel like as much as they introduce the part of the online payment, as well they can come up with the policies where, like, in case that the ticket is not used, it can be either reused later on or be transferred.
Okay, that's interesting. You take on that briefly.
I would urge more finesse in the process. It's a good process, of course. We are all IT driven. Not just in Kenya, but the entire world. But I think it was not very well thought through. And it's like you are shocked, just like last night's cabinet. You are shocked with this new system. And that's why tethering problems were there. But I think by the time we do away with this particular season, end of this year, we should get used to it. with amendments as to how soon can you get your refund if you're not traveling or if you're spending less nights than you paid for and so on. Okay. But it's a good move in the right direction if it is well implemented or better implemented than it was. And I want to engage you on the cost of doing business in the country, because there are certain ramifications, bearing in mind how perhaps expensive it is currently, perhaps to travel due to the dwindling pocket, if I can put it that way. Now, could this perhaps lead to revised hotel rates that might affect the sector? How do you look at it from a general point of view? I did see last week that Kenya will receive 23 brand new hotels in the next 8 or 12 months. It's a good and welcome gesture. We're getting more and more international chains coming in. Yeah. That's welcome. But I believe that with the current state, construction materials, everything that you want to purchase for construction of such is expensive. For me, I would advocate for government providing a head of a subsidy for newcomers or moratorium for some time before they can start, dealing with taxes on these new entrants into the market, because we need them. Yeah. If we were to train, like I do, at Air Travel and Related Study Center, and we need to get more students absorbed after their training, then we need as many hotels, as many airlines coming in, as many tour companies coming in as we can. I was also very happy to see last night that we have a carrier now from Togo getting to a country. That's great. We need to do some subsidies on whoever is entering into a market in terms of construction materials and as well. Yeah. A bit of tax relief for some time before they can actually settle in. So, cost of doing business without that would be expensive, and it's high time that we relooked at this if you really want to compete with giants like Tanzania and South Africa in our market. Okay, to bring in more camps into our country, so that all this issue of unemployment into a country, Jesse, can be taken care of. Definitely. And we do have lots of trained personnel in the industry, but they are not in proper formal jobs because also our industry is quite fluctuating. Low season, high season are quite big. Yeah. Also, we need to think at our destination, like not just a tourism destination, but also a conference destination. Conferences take you longer. There's no high season. There's no low season. Yeah. Just my thoughts. And also, we have come to realize that we are going to outsell us the Mara. We talk about every other time Mara as a wildlife destination, and that lasts 3 weeks, Jesse. Yeah. Maximum 1 month. So the beast migration. Yeah, the more we do that migration aspect, and the more we keep on hammering it as if there's nothing else to offer for the Mara, the more you're losing to our competitors. That's an interesting way of looking at it. As you had your voice, Boaz, it would be proper to note your views on what the Kenyan government is pushing in terms of visa-free requirements into the country, because it has a potential of boosting tourism numbers. How do you look at it from your point of view?
So just before I go to the visa part, let me talk briefly on the taxation part. Okay. For me, I don't feel like taxation is a bad thing, but on the other side, I feel like that's like oppressing the travelers. For example, you find like the government's putting a lot of tax, but on the other side, that they're not improving the infrastructure part in the national reserves. For example, we can go to the Nairobi National Reserve. There is the resting rooms or the washrooms. Basically, you can find like not like in good conditions. For me, I feel like even if we pay taxes, it's also well like we improve the infrastructure part of the tourism part. Yeah. On the other side, taxation is a good thing as well. The other side is not a good thing. Reason being, when you look on the taxation part, people pay a lot of money. Like the tourist industry, or the travel agents, or the tour operators use a lot of money to market. You find like an hotel has to now increase the rest of the hotels. Reason being, the taxes have been increased. And we have used a lot of money to market Kenya as a destination. Yes. Now, when the clients want to book, you find them saying like, oh no, why did you change the rates, this and this and this? No, they don't understand. For me, I can recommend the government, if they can be able to standardize the taxes, they can either do it once in a year. At least we prepare ourselves for the whole year. Okay. Yeah, and then coming now to the visa part, yeah, it's a good thing. In Kenya, it's very easy to get a visa. I think it costs around $50 to get a visa coming to Kenya. I feel also like we should come up, now that we know we have a common passport for East Africa, we can decide as a government to come up with one visa that can be able to run in East Africa. So at least it makes the clients be able to move. It will be generating revenue for Kenyan government as well for East Africa. Yeah.
Since you're speaking about East Africa and you look like a sports fan, let me ask you about the AFCON 2027 bid, because he talked about conference and capitalizing on that. We equally need to capitalize on sports tourism. So with this advantage right on our table as East Africa, as Kenya as a country, how best should we prepare ourselves to capitalize on the numbers that will be coming into the region, into our country, to watch the AFCON spectation? Well, how do you put it?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I appreciate so much for Kenyan government securing the AFCON 2027. I'm not like that much a fanatic for football, but I support Shabana.
Yeah.
So AFCON is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think it's going to improve greatly Kenyan tourism industry, because the people are coming to watch football, the players will need the accommodation, they need the transport. Sure. So at the same time, when there is no much activities happening, I think people will have to go either to Mombasa, go to either Masai Mara, Nairobi National Park. So for me, I feel it's a very big booster to the tourism industry. Okay. And I feel like it's long overdue.
Okay. Yeah. How should we prepare ourselves ahead of 2027? Because preparation is key.
AFCON is a blessing for this country. And I'm happy that finally we got it. This time as 3 East African countries, which of course stamps our East African Federation or East African community. I know you have tried it before, got awarded, and we did not do much about it. I hope that will change this time.
Sure.
The fact that it's being hosted by 3 countries also underpins the fact that we should also sell tourism as one block, and even include Rwanda. We are doing gorillas. That's Rwanda.
Yeah.
They are nowhere else. They're not in Kenya, or, We are doing Mount Kilimanjaro, the tallest, in Africa, and the highest freestanding mountain in the world. Yeah. That is in Tanzania. Kenya, the Mara that you're always talking about, and Uganda is very well known for bird life. Tanzania with Ngorongoro and so on. So this block should be replicated even in tourism. Now, what we need to do is to ensure that we provide, first of all, a single visa to visit all the 3 countries. Okay. Because we're going to have not just other African teams coming to play, but we're also having, scouts from all over the world coming to have a look at it. They need accommodation, they need meals. There are those who will be coming for posts, those who will be coming for pre-tournament. They'll be here 2 or 3 days before the tournament. They want to go to Nakuru, Mara, Naivasha a day before. There are those who are going to be remaining behind for 2 or 3 days after the tournament. They need also, to visit our country. They'll come also with spouses who are not really football fans, and during the 2-week tournament or so, they could visit larger parts of our East African community countries. Is a blessing for us. Of course, the quality of our stadiums and so on will mean that they will be enhanced, and we could get even better, better material for export abroad in terms of, football players and so on and so forth. Yeah. It's a big thing. It's a good time now to revamp our hotels, not just in Kenya, but everywhere else. And of course, a good time also for us to show that we have serious wildlife tourism in our country jointly. And of course, we should be able to show our East Africanness to the rest of the world. And that would be a great thing. You also talked to me about the issue of the visa. We could be perhaps the first country in the world not to ask for a visa for anyone who wants to get into a country. Yeah. But I must let you know, Jesse, that competent officer at immigration that you meet is the one who holds the key as to whether you can get in or out of the country. So let them come. But of course, we vet them. That is a very, very important thing. We vet them. I don't doubt at all our professionalism in our immigration, community. They do a good job all the time. Yeah. But then, as we allow them in, Kenya should also decide whether they want to go for quality tourism or for mass tourism. If you want to go for mass tourism, then You got to get the numbers, but perhaps not the finances. If you go for quality tourism, that means you're going to get the numbers and have a low impact on the environment. The choice is ours, and I believe that policy should be what should guide what it is that Kenya's tourism has to portend for the future and for future generations.
That's definitely well noted. And since we're talking about numbers, Boaz, let's talk about ways in which we can boost local tourism, because we've seen so many campaigns, Tembea Kenya, you name it, where we're trying to capitalize on the market we have within in order to perhaps fill in the gaps that were exposed during COVID-19, you name it. How exactly do we bring young people like you, like me, or even the elderly ones who are there before us with more experience to jump on this bandwagon about enjoying the sights and sounds of Kenya?
Wow.
Tembea Kenya is a very good initiative. For me, I support it 100%. As you can see, like when you compare the rates for the international travelers and the local tourists, the local tourist rates are a bit lower. You know, that one encourages that the Kenyan people to travel at a cheaper cost. As well, right now we have packages that are running at a lower cost. Like now going to Mombasa is only 1,000 Kenya shillings transport. We are there. And the other thing, hotels have come up with the massive offers that are able to promote the Kenyan tourists to travel. Like now, I can be able to say, like some hotels in Mombasa, even like you are one parent and then you have a kid traveling under 11 years. Yeah. You are able, like the kid doesn't pay anything actually. You just pay for the transport and you are there. Okay. So the kid enjoys all the services, the food, the accommodation, the activities, just free of charge. Okay. So for me, I feel like Tembea Kenya is a very good initiative, and I encourage the government to put more input for promoting the tourism in Kenya. Okay. So actually even Nairobi National Park, most people didn't even know like it exists. But during the Corona period, most people knew. Right now, going to Nairobi National Park, it just costs you around 2,000 Kenyan shillings. And you enjoy all your safari activities, the transport is there. It's a very good initiative. Okay. So I encourage Kenyans to travel.
Definitely well noted. And we've heard from President William Ruto, the only city with a park within.
But no tiger.
Yeah, but no. I see what you did there. Okay, anyway, as we finalize, it would be proper to note the training aspect, because for anyone in hospitality and tourism, what issues would you advise them? Because we need to be ready to take in these numbers.
Yes.
Because you mentioned about quality tourism.
Yes.
That will definitely make us to reevaluate our training, the infrastructure.
Yes.
How do we go about it?
We have to focus, especially for our youth, and catch them young, as we say. Let them show them the benefits of tourism right when they're in high school. For myself, for my institution, I always visit, high schools and talk about benefits of being in the travel, tourism, and hospitality industry, and they take in the information, they take in what it is that I talk to them, and they follow me, of course, and join the institution. But we have institutions, Jesse, and institutions. A good institution should be able to provide an international qualification. Okay. IATA, International Air Transport Association, is a global association of all the airlines of the world. Okay. That means that if you train at an institution, you're able to get international qualification that enables you to work anywhere that you want to work in the world. And that will mean that we'll drive off these guys who go and work abroad and bring us a foreign exchange. Number two, we have institutions that don't provide an internship. And I want to talk to hotels and airlines in this forum to open up for all of us to be able to provide internships for our students. Why? So that they can be able to get international standards. And then you can be able to cater for, the kind of quality clients that you're looking for when that particular time comes. So internships are important, and the attitudes of our students. Our industry is all about passion. If you have no passion, don't join the industry, because it's very frustrating, it's long hours that you work on a shift basis, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So we also need to, as early as possible, to continue talking to our students regarding what it is that tourism portends for. We have a very difficult situation because we are training students for tourism, and geography is tourism, and in our country it's not even compulsory. And when it's compulsory, it's a chapter tourism is a chapter in the whole subject called geography. So let's look at this industry much more seriously.
Right.
I'm happy you have a new cabinet secretary, and I'm sure that he's going to be a go-getter and he'll be able to change the industry for the better.
You know what they say, train a tree while it's still young, so we can be able to handle the numbers that will come in from a training perspective.
Precisely.
Boys, briefly, your final views.
Let me first talk about like nurturing the young talents.
Briefly, yeah.
I can say, for me, I can basically say like for you to be in a tourism industry, it's all about I can do attitude. It's all about like education. You can be learned, but you cannot deliver.
Okay.
So if you have the attitude for I can do, like you have the article like I can do attitude, it can help you like to improve yourself. I worked in some international hotels. Basically, I was working in Maldives from around 2019 to 2020.
Okay.
So I was working there.
Yeah.
So those people who are in Maldives, basically, most of them they're not even learned. They don't know much about tourism, but they have that attitude, like they can do it.
Okay.
So